What if the reason you feel too much and not enough at the same time isn't a flaw, but a pattern no one ever taught you to recognize? What if the chaos, the intensity, the exhaustion, and the brilliance all come from the same misunderstood place? Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll understand why so many people live their entire lives sensing something is different, without ever having words for it. Imagine this. You're lying awake at night, replaying conversations from years ago, your mind racing with ideas, regrets, plans, and sensory memories all at once. During the day, you can hyperfocus for hours on something you love, yet forget to eat, forget to reply to messages, forget yourself. You crave structure but rebel against it. You want a connection but feel overwhelmed by it. People describe you as intense, brilliant, or too sensitive, and you laugh along, but privately you wonder why life feels harder than it looks for everyone else. This story isn't about being broken. It's about being untranslated. AuDHD, autism combined with ADHD, is not simply having two diagnoses at once. It's a unique neurotype where traits interact, amplify, and sometimes mask each other. ADHD brings impulsivity, novelty-seeking, emotional intensity, and difficulty regulating attention. Autism is characterized by sensory sensitivity, enhanced pattern recognition, deep focus, and a strong need for predictability. When they coexist, the brain is constantly negotiating between stimulation and overwhelm. Neuroscience reveals differences in dopamine regulation, executive functioning, and sensory processing networks. This isn't a character flaw. It's a nervous system running a different operating system, one that's rarely explained, especially in adults who learned early how to blend in. Here's where the story deepens. Most conversations about AuDHD focus on surface-level traits: distraction, hyperactivity, social difficulty. But they miss the quieter signs, the ones people carry alone, like emotional whiplash, feeling deeply empathetic and emotionally attuned, yet suddenly shutting down when the input becomes too much. Or the way you can read a room instantly but still feel like an outsider inside it. This isn't a contradiction, it's coexistence. You may have learned to mask early. Masking is the nervous system's survival strategy. Copying social scripts, forcing eye contact, suppressing stims, overriding sensory discomfort, pushing through executive dysfunction with sheer willpower. From the outside, you look high-functioning. Inside, your body keeps score. Chronic fatigue, anxiety, burnout, and self-doubt slowly accumulate. Not because you're weak, but because you're constantly translating yourself into a language the world understands, without anyone teaching you how to translate back. One overlooked sign of AuDHD is the constant oscillation between over-control and chaos. Some days you're rigid, perfectionistic, detail-obsessed. Other days, everything collapses. Emails pile up, routines vanish, motivation disappears. This isn't an inconsistency. It's nervous system fatigue. The ADHD brain seeks dopamine to stay engaged. The autistic brain seeks predictability to feel safe. When both needs clash, you get an internal tug-of-war. Another sign no one talks about is moral intensity. Many AuDHD individuals experience an unusually strong sense of justice and authenticity. Lies feel physically uncomfortable. Hypocrisy feels unbearable. You might struggle in workplaces or relationships, not because you lack skill, but because your nervous system reacts strongly to misalignment. Research shows heightened activity in brain regions related to emotional salience and error detection. Your brain notices what others gloss over. And then there's the grief. The grief of realizing how long you blamed yourself for struggles that were never moral failures. The grief of wondering how different life might have felt with understanding instead of shame. Many adults discover ADHD only after burnout, anxiety disorders, or depression force them to stop. This isn't a coincidence. Prolonged masking increases cortisol, disrupts sleep, and strains emotional regulation circuits. But here's the moment most people don't expect, the turning point. Awareness doesn't shrink you, gives you your edges back. When you understand your neurotype, you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What does my brain need?" You learn that rest isn't laziness. It's regulation. Those boundaries aren't selfish. They're neurological accommodations. That routine can be flexible. That stimulation can be intentional. That your sensitivity isn't fragility, it's data. The most shocking realization for many is this. The traits that exhaust you are often the same ones that make you insightful, creative, intuitive, and resilient. Hyperfocus fuels mastery. Pattern recognition fuels innovation. Emotional depth fuels connection. When supported instead of suppressed, these traits don't disappear. They integrate. If this story felt like it was quietly describing your inner world, you're not alone, and you're not imagining it. Understanding AuDHD isn't about labeling yourself. It's about liberation through language. This channel exists to help you understand the mind-brain connection, so you can work with your nervous system instead of against it. Stay with this space if you want science explained gently, psychology grounded in empathy, and tools that help you build resilience without erasing who you are. If this resonated, take a breath, reflect, and keep exploring. Self-awareness is not an end point. It's a doorway.